Spook House. Hope you're all doing well. I know it's been a minute since we put out the episode, but we are back. We've got a lot of movies to talk about. My name is Phil, and you all know my co-host, Doug. I don't have a nickname lined up for you today. How are you?
Wow, you really had that like radio puker voice going on. And this is Doug, and I am Phil. Welcome to 60s Wacky Talk Show.
I'm Casey Kasem, and we're counting down all the hits.
You know what? You could be the modern day Casey Kasem with your impressions.
Well, I don't know about that, but but yeah, how you doing, man?
Oh, we just recovering from Tidewater Horror Fest, all that good stuff. Did a $146 Trader Joe's run a couple weeks ago. As soon as I got back from North Carolina.
That's oddly specific to remember.
Yeah. It's called autism.
All right.
Remembering the
shout out.
I'm a numbers guy.
2 weeks ago.
How are you feeling, Daddy-O?
I'm good. After Tidewater, like I did a week-long cruise the weekend before that, and I was already feeling a little run down. And when I got back from the cruise, I was like, I'm not going to lie, I kind of wish this convention was like next weekend, because it was right back on the road.
Yeah, it was back-to-back nonsense for you. And you were a little run down, but you hung in there the whole entire time, and we had a really bomb time there.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was like an honor to be able to host panels. That was a new experience for us. By the way, our panels with Ron Fazio and Lachlan Monroe are up on YouTube. I didn't, for whatever reason, think to record the Alex Vincent and Christina Lease panel, but that's on Instagram, at least. I mean, it's like shit quality, but
it's not complete shit quality.
Yeah, it's okay, but yeah, I wish I had got it, filmed it and put it on YouTube, but it's out there if you want to see it.
Yeah, we were just, honestly, kind of trial and erroring some things on how to film it, how it looks, and then, the videos we got of Lachlan Monroe and Ron Fazio, those came out pretty solid.
Yeah, they did. So let me ask you, how did you feel? Okay, Sunday, 10 a.m. That, by the way, 10 a.m. is way too early to start a panel. Even Alex Vincent agreed. He was like, Jesus, this is the earliest panel I've ever done.
He was like, I guess we're doing it at 10 a.m. This is great.
But how were you feeling once we got rolling and, all right, here they are. We're doing this.
Well, I do wish we got this, our first panel on a clearer, video, where you could hear and see us better. Because not going to lie, I shut down for about 10 minutes. I
do remember that. I
was kind of just like, it was like an out of body experience.
At one point I turned to you, I'm like, do you want to jump in?
I was like a scarred child in a supermarket, and you were just like, I was looking for my mother, and you were right next to me. But no, it's just like, especially I think it was a lot easier, or it felt a lot more comfortable when it was 3 people, me, right, you, and a guest, rather than you, me, Alex Vincent, and Christina Lease, because I was afraid of talking over anybody. And like bulldozing your questions, bulldozing over any of their answers.
Right. Yeah, that was all, just little things to figure out like that. But I think we handled it pretty well.
We bounced back pretty quick from that. Or I did. I think you were pretty smooth the whole time.
Well, maybe on the exterior, but inside I was like, if they would answer a question and there was like 2 seconds of silence, I'd be like, so anyway.
Right, like just trying to think of something to say that's like not necessarily on the cards, because a lot of what interviewing is just being in the moment.
Yeah.
and like listening to the other person rather than just straight up going for the cards. But we had index cards the whole time, which helped tremendously just to keep on looking down and going back to.
Yeah, we had like some bullet point questions, but like you said, it's all about just being in the moment. Like, we know the 3 movies we're going to talk about. We don't have any like, okay, I want to make sure we hit this and this.
Yeah.
So
and we kept it pretty loose, and I will say this on the episode. I told it to you right after, but I just thought this was a fun little anecdote. When I was walking down, so Tidewater HorrorCon was in a Holiday Inn. Honestly, one of the most beautiful Holiday Inns I've ever seen. It was like an atrium. There was like 10 skylights. It was pretty wild. But where they held the panels, it was kind of like up on a balcony overlooking the lobby. So like it was this big platform overlooking the lobby. So as I was walking down the stairs after we did the Lachlan Monroe interview, I heard some guy was like saying, it was a really good panel. Like, it felt very personal and rather than just any of the other interviews. So I was like, yeah, that's a good feeling.
That's definitely a high compliment. But yeah, I mean, just try to make it more of a conversation as opposed to like, all right, got to hit these questions. And
yeah,
it was a learning experience. I think next year we'll be better at it because we kind of know what to expect. So
yeah, that's for sure. And the unpredictability of the guest is fun too. Like we don't know what they're going to say. So that kind of was very fun to like see where the conversation could go from what they're saying and kind of firing back at us and just think of questions on the spot or just talk. Like you said, I think it seems like they, actors and those types of celebrities appreciate the non-TMZ approach.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll hone in our skills for next year.
Oh yeah, baby.
We got to shout out our buddy Tim from the Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks podcast. Without him, we would not have had that opportunity. So thank you, Tim. You're the man. And you also crushed it on your panels. I wish I had seen all of his on Saturday, but
yeah, Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks is Tim's podcast. So go peep that if you want to support the homies. Yeah, I met Tim for the first time that weekend and coolest, sweetest dude. We all hung out the first night and checked out some really, really hilarious karaoke that they were holding in one of the in one of the sections of the hotel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, was that the night we bumped into our friend, your buddy at the booth? Fuck you, Phil.
Nope, that was the second night.
Okay. All right, we got to tell that story.
Yeah, I'll let you lead with that one.
Right.
You were pretty much the victim.
So he's a nice guy. Okay.
I'm a nice guy. Hey,
man. I'm a nice guy, but fuck you. No, there's this dude. He's worked a bunch of cons before. He has a really cool booth, sells a lot of awesome shit, but Doug has talked to him several times over the years. So they were like chatting it up and they got to know each other. And after we left karaoke or one of the nights we run into him, he's at the bar. And apparently this is his first night drinking in like 7 months or something, he said. And he was fucking lit. And for whatever reason, he like honed in on me.
It was like the Terminator target.
Yeah,
like he just gunned right for you.
Like you were talking to him and I was kind of standing behind you and he's like, yeah, don't say nothing, Phil. You just keep standing there. And I'm like, huh? Hey, what's... And he just kept giving me shit all night. And he kept saying, fuck you, Phil. Like I would say something. And he must have said that 8 times. And
out of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah.
Me and him would just be having a conversation about nothing. Like, oh yeah, Boar's Head deli meat is recalled. Fuck you, Phil. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And right. I get it. I know he's drunk. He's having fun. But as somebody that hasn't drank in quite a while, being sober around that, it was like, oh my God, how much longer can I keep going?
That's how I felt all my life, which is why I do not hang out at bars.
Yeah. But I mean, even when I was drinking, you don't want to hang out with that guy.
No, the person that's like talking an inch away from your mouth, you're breathing his stank breath, almost French kissing. You practically like shave his eyebrows from the proximity that you're at. Yeah, just I don't really see the need to be around those people.
Yeah, but it's like that thing of I'm kind of being a dick and being aggressive, but it's okay because I say, "Oh, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm a good guy."
And
It's all good, but fuck you.
But
And I'm like,
but you're sober, so you're living in reality, which is what in that moment those types of people do not understand. They think it's all fun and games. Everyone's drunk. We're all drunk, but no, that is not always the case. But he is a really nice guy. I will point that out.
Yeah, I saw him the next day and I was like, "What's up, man? How you feeling?" And he's like, "I'm doing all right." I don't even think he remembered everything.
That's how deep he was, lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
He took a big shot out of like a solo cup. And I was like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, he's already plastered and they pass out shots. I was like, "Hey, let's get the fuck out of here."
I was like, we got to go back to the room. I saw Phil sat down, just like hanging out, like nothing. You were just sitting down, hanging out.
I was exhausted. I was like, I just want to get in bed.
Yeah, you got back from the cruise. You drove 3 hours. You had shitty sleep for like 2 nights. The last thing you want to do is deal with this drunk guy saying "fuck you" every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he goes at it again, and I'm like, yeah, we gotta go back to the room and write some questions for the panels tomorrow. And he's like, Phil, I'm just kidding, I'm 50 something, I'm a grown man, I'm a nice guy. I love him. I love you too. I want to get to know you, but fuck you, Phil. He's like,
yeah. It's like, okay, well,
ramble.
You had me there for a little bit. I was like, yeah, it's all good. Okay, fuck me. All right, what? All right, I'm out of here.
It was like a curse in disguise. I was like, okay, he's kind of atoning for his sins. And then he just dropped the "fuck you."
We did legitimately have to go write questions for Alex Vincent panel, which you would think, hey, Child's Play. That's got to be the easiest panel to come up with questions for. And not so much. We were kind of struggling a bit. Like, are we prepared?
And that was the longest panel that we had. That one was an hour.
Yeah.
All the other panels that we hosted were a half hour, even though
Lachlan was
Monroe,
like 45.
Yeah, graciously gave us a cool 45. He wanted to stay there like for an hour, and we could have went an hour.
Yeah.
I think that was like I don't know. All the interviews were fun, but he was just such like a generous dude.
Yeah, he was awesome. But yeah, we got it done. Christina Lease is kind of intimidating. She's like from Boston. She's got that like edge to her,
I kind of envision her as like a human street shark. Like she just looks like she could, like, if you catch her in an alleyway, she'll like bite your head off.
Yeah, she's a little badass, but she was very sweet. Alex was cool. Everybody was great to talk to. So,
and you know what? For a 10 a.m. panel, a lot of people showed up.
Yeah. And by the way, we were supposed to do a panel with Shannon Sossaman, but she got there and apparently decided that she didn't want to do it. But we did go up to her table, and her and Doug talked about pasta, no lie, for like 5 minutes. I was like, is this happening right now?
It was surreal. I literally watched Rules of Attraction like 2 days before, and now I'm discussing my favorite type of pasta with Shannon Sossaman.
You guys are talking about al dente and this and that. I'm just sitting back watching it happen.
Yeah, she likes it al dente, which I do not condone. I think she might have called me a bitch subtly that I like my pasta soft, because she was like, "Oh, soft pasta must be for a soft person." But no, she was again, gracious enough to indulge us in conversation. We both talked to her for like, we were at her booth just like we wanted to introduce ourselves, just in case she wanted to do the panel, and just to say like, hey, we understand, but if you want to change your mind, we're here.
Yeah, and she was like, let me think about it, but don't get your hopes up, but I might do it. And I was like, you know where to find us. So you
and it
let
was
us
funny
know.
because we were walking the floor, like trying to introduce ourselves to like Lachlan Monroe and all the people that we were doing panels for, just to, let them know if they have any, if they have any questions for us, if they want us to disregard some topics or just anything. So you could tell we were like lurking the floor because there were people on Shannon Sossaman's line, and we were just like trying to. I feel like we were just trying to look around and survey the perimeter.
We're like,
when we had
look at
a
this.
clear intention.
Yeah, we're like, look at this carpet here. That's
Shannon Sossaman.
Wow.
What do you know? Didn't know your booth was here.
We did ask her about being in the Korn Make Me Bad video, though. So that was cool.
No.
Yeah. Well, we found that out like the night before, just kind of digging around, trying to come up with questions. But yeah, she was really nice. I was a little bummed we didn't get to do a panel with her, but all good.
You still got to talk to your preteen crush for about 10 minutes.
She's still gorgeous, but
that she is.
Yeah. She called us mischievous boys at one point. Remember that?
Yeah. She did call us adorable.
Yeah. She was like, well, you guys are adorable. You're a couple of mischievous boys. I guess we're just standing there like smiling awkwardly, looking like dorks.
I honestly wish there was a camera pointed at our dumb faces at that moment. Because like it's kind of hard to just go up to. I mean, granted, Shannon Sossaman isn't on like the level of, let's say, like Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, but she was in a bunch of movies that you loved.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing her in Rules of Attraction and the Korn Make Me Bad music video, and still need to watch A Knight's Tale. But she's still, again, they're people, but they're celebrities that you've watched on the big screen.
Yeah.
It's intimidating a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little shook. I was like, all right, keep it cool, keep it cool.
You held it together.
Even during, I remember at one point during the Lachlan panel, my mind started drifting towards like watching Scary Movie and Dead Man on Campus, Night at the Roxbury, Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't go there. Like, get focus. It's just a dude. You can't, because you'll like sort of psych yourself out.
Oh yeah. Especially when like it's a difficult balance to be in the moment and still have to know that you're conducting like an interview. So you have to keep him engaged and keep the audience engaged and keep yourself engaged. That's hard.
Yeah. Also having people stare at you while you're podcasting essentially. But I tried to like block that out. Like, okay, that's just a static image, that's over there. That's
funny that we both have opposite feelings on that. I was more nervous about those silent pauses with the guests and trying to like scramble for a question and not sound like an idiot rather than like the people staring back at us, but you felt the opposite.
I mean, no, I know what you mean, but I just tried to compartmentalize it in my head. Like, okay, there's people there. They don't exist. Sort of like those aren't actually people watching me talk.
And it helps because they're literally just sitting there standing still, not moving. You could easily turn that into just a picture or block it out.
Sure.
But it does take practice.
But yes, overall, a very successful first year. I'm hoping that we're going to do next year as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and shout out to Billy and Brian from Tidewater. Very cool guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, those dudes were seriously the best.
Yeah, but hey, they were like, yeah, we'll love to have you back next year. So
that'd be great. I already blocked off those days next year, baby. We're doing it.
Nice. All right, Doug. we got some movies to talk about.
We have a whole heaping pile of movies.
I'm guessing we should do Beetlejuice first.
Yeah,
Because
we could
that's
go in like release date order.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I guess I can say this now, but when the Beetlejuice trailer dropped, I told you this. I didn't want to be like the grumpy old man, like shitting on everybody's good time. Like, oh my God, the trailer looks sick. I thought it looked like Rob Zombie's The Monsters or something. I mean, I didn't have high hopes for the movie.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same as you. The trailer really didn't give me any hope. Granted, we've been waiting for a sequel for Beetlejuice for years and years.
36 years.
36 years, baby. It's a long time. And, when you hear the news break that, Michael Keaton's going to be back, Tim Burton's going to be back, they're doing everything, the set design and the practical effects, how they, created it in 1988, that gives you a good moral compass going into it. Some good, some good ideas. But when the trailer was released, it did look a little, you could tell it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Now, we had a lot of time to sit on it after, after we saw it. It's been like 2 weeks since we both saw it. So after letting it simmer in the brain, have your thoughts changed on it?
Not too much. I mean, overall, I did enjoy the movie. I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5. But when I was thinking back on the movie today, I was like, wait, what did happen in that movie? It's kind of a jumbled mess of ideas.
Yes. There's not really one straight narrative, which I think, and again, we both had fun with the movie.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud.
I like that they weren't afraid to get weird and just goofy with it.
Yes. And that's what you hope when you're watching a Tim Burton movie. He did Wednesday a couple years ago. I think that was the best thing he's done since, I don't know, what was the last good thing before that? It wasn't Dumbo.
I mean, I feel like I might be forgetting something, but I'd say Sleepy Hollow was like his last really great movie.
Really? Okay. And then after that, you got Big Fish.
Which is a good movie on its own, but, it
was a fun, I think of the right word. It was because it wasn't like a kid's movie, but it had that whimsical type energy.
Yeah.
Very sad movie, but really good. So again, it's been like a hot minute since he returned to like any previous property that he's ever done.
Yeah, and overall, as far as legacy sequels go, this is definitely one of the better ones because we've seen. I mean, I appreciate that it introduced some new ideas and it didn't just rely on remember this from the first movie. There was a lot of that, but at the same time, you're in the world of Beetlejuice, so there's gonna be some familiar concepts.
Yeah, it wasn't done in like a hacky or ham-fisted way though. And it's just kind of a bummer because there were a lot of good ideas introduced in Beetlejuice. Like, I kind of wish they took out the Monica Bellucci stuff.
Yes.
That kind of amounted to nothing. She was just there for...
Where's Beetlejuice?
So
kill somebody. Okay, she's gone. 5 minutes later, where's Beetlejuice?
Hey, does she just have a string on her back that Danny DeVito is pulling? All right, let's go. But totally unnecessary plot. If they just focused on, Jenna Ortega's. Sorry, we're gonna spoil these movies because it's been out for 2 weeks. So if you haven't seen Beetlejuice, come back a little later. Go get some snacks.
I can't tell you the ending of this movie because I don't really remember it. It was just lots of random shit happened, and then there was a sandworm at the end.
Yeah, and then Monica Bellucci exploded, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not really sure how it ended, but yeah, if they like, I think the most interesting storyline that happened was Jenna Ortega and like the cute neighbor boy. If they just kind of focused on that, and he kind of tricked her into like bringing her into the underworld, and then Lydia would have to call on Beetlejuice for some help, and it was kind of, and you could also get Willem Dafoe's detective character involved in that way. So having it just focus on like Jenna Ortega's storyline probably could have allowed the movie to be a little bit more character driven, because like you said, we're all familiar with Lydia and Catherine O'Hara's character. It would have been nice to like make it feel like how like we felt about like the Maitlands.
Yeah, I think that was the most interesting out of the 9 different subplots. I think that was the most interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Just simplified.
With a fun twist.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. I think the funniest part for me was when Beetlejuice sends him to hell or whatever. I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like, "Later, fucker." Yeah.
I honestly, I forgot that part, but let's just give Michael Keaton some fucking credit for like not even skipping a beat.
75 years old.
Dude is still running around like a madman.
I mean, of course, he might have, he doesn't have quite the same fluidity and energy that he had 36 years ago, because that's just what happens. But to be that age and pull off that performance, yeah, he was great. Catherine O'Hara, of course, crushed it. No real complaints with the cast.
I could have done without Justin Theroux. I mean, he was kind of.
him.
I mean, I like him as an actor, but he was just kind of like very over the top. Which maybe that was the point, but I was every time he was on screen, I was like, yeah, I don't really care about this weird romance with Lydia and whatever his name was in the movie. I do have a question though, which I think I might know your answer.
Okay.
Do you think directors need to stop casting Jenna Ortega as like the edgy, sassy goth girl?
Weirdly enough, I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, look, I am not one to tell Jenna Ortega what to do. I think she's doing just fine without my input. But from my perspective, I think she should not accept these roles when they're offered to her from here on out. Like unless you're revisiting something like Wednesday, it's like you already put your stamp on this type of character. Maybe pick something where you can show off some range, and because she's very talented, she's going to have a very bright future. But yeah, it's a little played out at this point.
You sounded like a guidance counselor there for a second. Hope she has a very bright future and scores well on her SATs.
Hey.
No, but you're right. I mean, she made her mark in the horror genre with X, Beetlejuice, Wednesday. She's getting a little older now. Scream also, I think she was the best part of Scream 5. Refuse to call it Scream. But yeah, she has so much talent brewing underneath all of these, like, I wouldn't say poorly written, but just kind of written almost one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see her do some different stuff, even in the horror genre, like Micah Monroe, how she went from It Follows to Watcher to Longlegs. Like, that's what we call progression, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see her in some drama or comedy or something.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't watch Miller's Girl on Netflix.
Okay. I want to watch the Mr. McMahon documentary.
Oh, shit. How was that? I didn't get a chance.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I thought you said you did watch it.
No, not yet.
No chance. Da-na-na-na.
All right, Doug. So since you posed a question to me, let me throw one back at you. So
Let's do it, baby.
Jeffrey Jones was obviously in the original Beetlejuice. He was not in this one due to past legal troubles. We'll just say that. If you don't know, look it up. He's a piece of shit. But yeah. So he's in this movie a lot. Like, they keep bringing him up. And I can understand if they're saying, like, okay, well, we need to write him out of the movie. Let's explain why he's not in the movie. But to have him to keep reoccurring throughout the movie and even using his face on the tombstone, it was just odd. It's like, I feel like you could have just left all that out. I don't think many people would be like, hey, where's Jeffrey Jones at? Or if you want to bring up a past character from the original, go with like Alec Baldwin or Gina Davis or something.
Would have been less controversial, even though Alec Baldwin was found not guilty in his case. But still, yeah, Jeffrey Jones, his presence was in the movie an uncomfortable amount.
Yeah.
Even like the claymation thing about like him diving into the ocean, during a plane crash. Like, okay, we get what you're trying to do, but you don't need to go that far.
Yeah. By the way,
funeral would have been fine. We get it. He's dead.
Yeah. And by the way, that claymation scene, I know a lot of people liked it. I thought it was very jarring and just, it's like,
yeah, it was a little out of place.
Yeah, it felt like a commercial from the 90s, like a Sprite commercial.
Yeah, it kind of felt like we were watching Kablam.
Yeah.
Like Henry and June presents a child molester death.
It's like, what is this, Chicken Run? What the fuck is this?
More like Dick and Run, if you know what I'm saying.
Hey, now. But yeah, that just felt very odd to me. You know what else was a little odd? Okay, we don't have to get into this too much. I think you know where I'm going. But Tim Burton in the past has been criticized for literally never casting a black person in his movies up until Wednesday. And they were bully characters. I don't know. I didn't see it. I watched a couple episodes.
They were what characters?
Bully characters. They were like, he caught some heat for like, okay, the first time you cast black people, they're bullies. I don't know. But there's been like, look, I'm not here to say whether or not Tim Burton's racist. Whatever. I don't think he is. I don't know. But after that criticism, to have the only black people in Beetlejuice be this Soul Train scene, it just made me go, huh, that's a choice. Like, what?
Listen.
It was just odd.
Tim Burton comes from that era where that show was big. A lot of people don't know it now.
That joke would have been dated during the first Beetlejuice.
I agree. That's why when I saw it, I was like, what is this? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Why is this also so prominent in the movie? Because that also felt so out of, like, a horrible pun, by the way. Like, bad pun. It's just not clever.
It almost felt like he was saying, oh, you want black people in my movies? Here's fucking Soul Train. It was just like, ugh. What?
Yeah, and just totally ham-fisted that. That's something we didn't need. You could have just had the subway. Could have just been, or like, or the train could have just said Soul Train. Fine. Leave it at that. But to have the whole like dancing bit to it, it just felt a little, again, out of place.
Yeah, with the afros and the disco. It's like, it's just weird.
I'm sure Idris Elba rolled his fucking eyes at that scene.
I rolled my fucking eyes at that. I was just, I don't know. But I mean, okay, controversies aside, overall, I did enjoy this movie. It was a very engaging watch with a crowd at the theater. I mean, people were laughing, and I mean, it was a good time.
It
I
was
would
very
watch it
fun.
again.
That's what I'm struggling with.
Like, would you watch it again?
Yeah, because the original Beetlejuice just has so much replay value,
Yeah.
innovative for the time. Michael Keaton is great. The whole cast is great. Not saying that this cast isn't great, but the feel of it doesn't feel like Beetlejuice. It feels more like, I know we've talked about this recently, like just movies nowadays just feel so
Like a Super Bowl commercial?
like fucking vapid. Yeah. Like straight up, like they could have played this entire movie during the Buffalo Bills game and wouldn't even bat an eye.
Feels like
Could have thought they were selling Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's I mean, 36 years later, yes, some of the magic is going to be lost, but I mean, the imagination was there, the campiness of it, maybe a little too camp at times, but as far as legacy sequels, this could have been so much worse.
It's one of the better ones. I mean, the set,
Yeah.
I can't deny that the set design was great. And,
Yeah.
you know, Winona Ryder hasn't missed a beat. Jenna Ortega was a great addition. There were, all the elements were there. It's just so hard to build upon a legacy that is like so talked about in pop culture. Like Beetlejuice is a movie for literally everybody. That's like a movie you show your kids. That's a movie grandparents watch. They probably show that shit in the nursing home.
Yeah, you're not going to recapture that magic.
It got close.
But
Out
yeah.
of all the legacy sequels, it did get close.
Yeah. I mean, being 2024 with Tim Burton's previous, you know, look at his last 10, 15 years as a filmmaker. I was like, this has fucking turd written all over it. And I was pleasantly surprised.
When you go in with low expectations, you'll be okay with it.
So, will they do another one? There's talks about it.
It did. Were you surprised? Because I was kind of surprised that Beetlejuice made as much money as it did. I didn't really have faith
I wasn't.
in the audience. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause it made a lot.
I mean, like you said, everybody loves Beetlejuice. They all know the movie. It captures horror fans, mainstream audiences. It spans across everybody. It's not like, you know, Scream or something.
And I hope they don't do a third movie. I hope Michael Keaton's like, nope, I'm out. This was it. Legacy sequel done. Because we don't need another Beetlejuice sequel.
Yeah.
We already have John Wick 10 coming out.
Yeah, I don't think they need to do a third one.
It would just be overkill at that point.
Yeah, I think so. Beetlejuice. That's our review. It exceeded our expectations.
It exists. It's a movie. It was fun. If it's on streaming, I might pop it on. Brittany enjoyed it a whole lot. She was dying laughing through the whole movie. It was cute.
Yeah. Minus, you know, Jeffrey Jones and Soul Train.
Yeah. Take those elements out of there and
Get him out of here.
scurry along now.
Quit.
Scurry out the door, Mr. Belvedere.
Quit stinking up the room with like, what's the subtext of this? I don't know. Just odd choices. But
You'd think some producer would be like, hey, Tim, maybe this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Or you just don't say anything to Tim Burton because he's Tim Burton.
All right. What's the next movie, Doug?
Someone needs to smack the Dumbo out of him.
The Front Room. We might be the only two people that have seen this movie. So
You think so? I saw a decent amount of reviews.
no, I'm joking, but it did not do great at the box office.
No way. I think it was like number 6 or 7.
We literally watched it, less than like almost 2 weeks ago, and it's already coming out on demand this week.
No, I think it was like last Thursday.
No, It's been
Has
like
it-
two. It's
I don't know what
it's
time
been
it is.
longer than a week. It's been like 2 weeks.
Shit.
So this was you and I's first theater experience.
Together, we had a hot date with the Alamo. We had those delicious Alamo chocolate chip cookies, which I dream about every night and wish I could just like wipe my ass with it. It's so
nice.
good. I just want it all over me. But yeah, out of all the years we've known each other, after the times we've seen each other, we never saw an actual movie together. The front room couldn't have been a better experience.
Yeah, it was literally just me and you in the second row, and there was one guy in the very back.
Yes.
Which turned out, I'm glad it wasn't a packed house because we were talking about this before. It's a good commentary movie. It's a easy to follow plot, but you'll have a lot of fun talking shit along the way. Pun intended.
There's so much shit in this movie. I went into this movie, again, not knowing much about it, just knowing that it's going to be like a push and pull type of situation between Brandy and the mother-in-law, little religious undertones here and there. I was not prepared for what we got. It has to be the funniest comedy of 2024.
It
was so good.
It's got some funny moments. The old lady in this movie, she was fucking great. I mean, she was just fully engrossed in this character. I wish I knew her name off the top of my head.
Catherine Hunter.
There you go. She was great. Brandy is very solid in the movie. The only weak point of the movie is the husband. Like he just sucked.
He looks like he just came from an acting class from McDonald's.
Yeah, not good.
You need to get the McFuck out of here.
Might
it was
be
not great.
Might have a nominee this year. Who knows? But yeah, his character sucked. The actor was just
He was a bum.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was visibly a bum, but the only ones that mattered were Brandy and Catherine Hunter. The stuff that they make Catherine Hunter say in this movie is so, she pulls off condescending old broad so well.
Yeah.
That she just gets under your skin. Like you're
Old
like,
broad.
This woman deserves to die. And
yeah, like thinly veiled racist undertone statements, and yeah.
She has the funniest line that I've ever heard in a movie. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about her with the white napkin over her head.
It's not so much a spoiler, so I'll just say it. But Brandy and her are having this conversation at the dinner table. Brandy accuses her of being racist. She's like, "I'm not racist," but then it devolves into her like picking up a white napkin and holding it over her head, and she's like, "I'm a racist baby. I'm a racist baby. Goo goo gaga."
It was the craziest shit that I've ever heard in a horror movie, and we've seen a ton of movies, but the commitment level to everything that she did was great. And like the tension between her and Brandy, like just like, again, like there was physical comedy in it. There should have been Benny Hill music playing when Brandy was at the top of the stairs and Catherine Hunter was walking to her room, looks at Brandy and then just collapses, knowing that she knows Brandy's going to pick her up because she doesn't want to act like she's neglecting her. So like just genius mind games. It was
the whole I guess plot of the movie is the old lady is trying to play Brandy against the husband who is her son. So she's like, she'll shit herself on purpose and make the husband come pick her up and take her to the bathroom and smile at Brandy. Like, see, I got him to do it. And it's just, if you're squeamish when it comes to shit, like I am, I mean, you were sitting beside me. There were times where I was like, dude, I can't
I had two movies going on.
I
The
can't
front
look
room
at it.
and Phil wincing at all the piss, shit, vomit that was going on. It
Thank
was
God we
beautiful.
finished our food before all the piss and shit started because I wouldn't. I'd be like, I lost my appetite. I can't do it.
And it was like this movie was vile in
Yeah,
that way.
you could smell this movie.
Like that was the only rated R aspect of the movie, really. It was just the use of shit and bodily fluids.
Yeah, and she's like doing it on purpose just so Brandy will have to clean it up. And it's, I mean, all that stuff aside, as for the movie itself, the ending is a little lackluster. It sort of felt like it was building to something. There was like these religious elements to it. So you're like, oh, is this all just a ploy to get the baby? Is this like a Rosemary's Baby type of
Yeah.
thing? You think it's going to go that way. And the ending happens, and it's just like, oh, I guess not. Movie's
I was
over.
hoping there was some kind of payoff in the end, because there was that weird scene with all of the churchgoers when they were like touching Brandy and like trying to, you know, hug the baby or whatever. Like if it would have leaned more into the religious aspect, probably would have enjoyed it a little more, or probably been more rewatchable, aside from just Catherine Hunter being a lunatic. But yeah, it doesn't really like it was written by Robert Eggers' brothers. It didn't seem like they really knew how to end the movie. I'm glad Brandy got her comeuppance. It was like a heroic ending, but it just felt like it was missing that impact
Yeah.
to really like drive it home, like to go completely off the rails.
Yeah, I think they should have leaned into I don't know. Just like you said, go off the rails with it, like go fucking crazy.
Which the next movie we're going to talk about absolutely does that.
Yes, it does.
But as for the front room, it's a slow burn, which again, when it's done right, it's engaging. I mean, I was engaged the whole entire time just because of Catherine Hunter's performance. I think if anyone gets anything out of this movie, like there's really no message, which again is fine. You don't need a message for every movie. It's a very straightforward narrative. And it's just a fun watch. I could see this being like a good, like an, AMC After Dark type of movie. Like it's on, you see it on, you just leave it on. It has good atmosphere. I thought it was directed pretty well.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it like a slow burn. I wouldn't even call this a horror movie.
Yeah, that's up for debate.
Yeah, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's sort of a black comedy meets. It's not quite Rosemary's Baby, but it's something.
It's Brandy's baby.
Rosemary's Gravy?
Rosemary's Brandy?
I don't know. But yeah, go watch it if you haven't. I've seen a lot of people kind of shit on it, and we were like, hey, this was kind of a fun watch in a gross, enduring kind of way. You don't really watch this movie, you just endure it. You smell it.
Yeah, if this movie ever gets like a physical release, it should be sold in like a diaper.
Yeah, just like the 4K box set is it's covered in Depends. It's like shit covered.
Sponsored by Huggies.
Ugh. Yeah, gross. Very gross.
But that's one I would rewatch. I would rewatch The Front Room over Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun.
You had more fun than me. You were, yeah. You're like, yeah, that's my kind of movie. I'm like, what?
See, when I hear fun, I think of shit in the front room.
I did like the movie, and I'm kind of sad that it flopped so hard. But
people just didn't understand what they were trying to say with the movie.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they did either.
Exactly.
It
Which is
was
why you
just
just
kinda-
shut off your brain and have fun.
Yeah, it just sort of it just sort of happened, and then it was over.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those movies where, again, people have their different opinions on fun. This was a fun movie to me. Whereas people say Scream 6 was great and fun. This was fucking fun.
All right, there's the mention of that movie in this episode. All right.
We're not sponsored. It's just a prerequisite. When I think of shit, I also think of Scream 6.
All right, I'll accept that. There we go. All right. From one gross movie to the next,
Top tier gross.
got to talk about the substance. So, soundtrack was thumping. The sound design in this, fucking great. Let me ask you, did you see the director's first movie, Revenge?
Absolutely loved it. When I first got Shudder,
I kind of forgot about it, and I need to rewatch it because it's great.
it really, and like, I only seen it once, and watching The Substance, I was like, oh, this is Revenge, but she's amping it up to the next level. Like, the camera work was great. The symmetry in this movie was very satisfying to the eye. I fucking loved looking down that straight hallway with like the Shining-esque carpet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Revenge was really, really good and has that like frenetic energy.
Mm-hmm.
She has a really good eye, man.
Yeah, she is a director to look out for.
Coralie Fargeau.
Better than I can say it. So
It's something French.
yeah, it didn't even pick up on the Kubrickian aspects of the movie with the long hallway shots and the symmetry.
Yeah, and there was dude, also, just to say it real quick, the unsung, like, Demi Moore crushed it, obviously.
Yes.
Margaret Qualley destroyed, but the unsung hero,
DQ.
Dennis fucking Quaid.
DQ.
What a sleazy dirtbag he was.
And he always plays like, the middle America dad. He's just full on sack of shit in this.
Everything that came out of his mouth, like, was just the best type of satire. Like, all pretty girls should smile.
Yeah.
In that one line, like, this movie didn't really have a ton of dialogue, but every piece of dialogue that was spoken had weight to it.
Yeah, not a lot of dialogue. I did notice that.
So I saw it. So I saw it last week for the first time. Me and Brittany went on Thursday opening weekend. I saw it yesterday again with Steve. So much better the second time.
Oh.
You really pick up on a lot of things.
I imagine it would be a very fun watch to show somebody that hasn't seen it, and what's in store.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, oh man,
Now,
they're not ready for this.
Just give me 3 movies, maybe 5 movies. Give me 5 movies that you thought of while watching this movie, because I thought of a ton.
The Thing,
That it kind of was inspired. Yes.
The Fly.
Yes.
I thought about Requiem for a Dream at one point.
Okay. I
Because
can totally see
you
that.
come across this thing that you think is the answer to all your prayers, and it turns against you. And
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
no, and I was gonna say I probably thought about Nothing But Trouble at some point, just because Demi Moore, but that's just my brain. I don't know.
Very true. Me and Steve did mention Nothing But Trouble
Nice.
last night. Immediately, you want to know the movie that I immediately thought of?
What?
The Nutty Professor.
Oh,
It was literally like Buddy Love and Professor Clump going back and forth, just like way whiter and hotter.
oh, dude, I forgot about Dave Chappelle in that movie.
Oh, with the hair, when he takes off the hair and he's just getting roasted. So, dude, that movie's classic.
Buddy Love. Shit, I gotta watch The Nutty Professor again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I believe it's on Netflix. I put it on like 2 months ago, like before work, just because I haven't seen it in so long. it still holds up. Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy is a comedic genius. But yeah, this was a great vehicle for Demi Moore to really get back in the public eye acting wise. I think she hasn't really done much, and this was so out of her wheelhouse that
Yeah.
like when you see it, you're like, damn, she should do more of these.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready for this movie. I was like, holy shit, like this is kind of blowing me away and like grossing me the fuck out at the same time.
There was a lot of needle pinching, a lot of needles going into skin. That skeeved me out a whole lot.
You know what got me the most was Demi Moore's infected back and
Oh,
that needle, because we've all had like some sort of skin infection. You just know how sensitive and like, ugh.
that was a big old pus hole that
Ugh.
absolutely made me want to gag. But the prosthetics in this movie looked wonderful. The back, all the sores and the grossness, and I will tell you one of my favorite scenes, just because it kind of reminds me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It just kind of turns into like a weird coincidental mystery movie. When she escapes from 35 North Byron Alley and she goes into that diner,
Yeah.
and the old guy is sitting there and he goes, "It's long, isn't it?" And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you start to feel lonely, and just she realizes who it is. I love that scene because it kind of just drops the veil on everything and you see what it can do to you, and Demi Moore's character takes it way overboard.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think there should have been more of those types of scenes in the movie, like where they explore I don't know, the substance behind the movie, like what it's really trying to say? And
You know, I wrestled with this because I feel like if they added more exposition, it wouldn't be as effective as it was.
right.
But I want to know so much more about like the people behind the drug, other people who've tried it. Like that was so, I don't know. I thought that scene was just so impactful.
Well, thank God there wasn't a scene where like Demi Moore hunts down the guy behind the phone and she Mission Impossible breaks into the warehouse where they're cooking up batches of it.
She had to do some hot yoga over red lasers
Yeah. So
to
thank
steal
God.
like the ultimate ring in the glass.
Yeah. Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, this was totally, and I will forever sing the praises of Demi Moore in this movie because she fully commits to the beaten down depression of what's that called? Like body dysmorphia. Like she hates herself so much as, you know, as like this washed up star, and she just wants to be remembered for that, you know, beautiful young person who she was, and she's jealous of the person who came out of her. That's her, but she's conflicted because she doesn't want to get old, and she keeps getting more old and decrepit, but she doesn't want to stop and terminate the substance.
Yeah, and the younger self is resentful of the older self. It did pose a lot of philosophical questions, like, you know, what if that were you?
Yeah, and
Or
a whole social commentary on, you know, wanting to not age and not accepting your age. And I'm sure there was tons of shots at celebrities getting, you know, all these surgeries and Botox and, you know, face trims and all that stuff that like a lot of Hollywood seems to be dealing with that right now. But Demi Moore, man, she looks dang good.
yeah, I guess you could apply whatever allegory you want behind the movie. Like, oh, it's about plastic surgery. You could see it about drug use or steroids or just any vehicle that allows you to like try to change who you are into what
Yeah.
you perceive as a better version. But yeah, I love the movie. I want to rewatch it. That final transformation scene when it was practically the thing, when she just reaches her not final form. I'm talking about where the movie probably should have stopped, but we'll talk about that. Like when she's still at the apartment and her face is on the back and there's teeth and everything. I had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Look at this practical
Seriously.
effect. Just piece of art on the screen right now. This is amazing.
I turned to Brittany the first time we were in the theater. I said, that's how you do a horror movie. This is it right here. Go completely off
You
the
look at
fucking
it,
rails.
this right here, baby. That's how it's done.
This is what we call a horror movie in show business. But I was just as happy as you were seeing how disgusting and gross this creature was. And also the fact that she was accepting of that final form of hers. Like, there was no like horrific reaction. I don't know if she could make one with all those faces that she had, but
Yeah.
she was like, it's me. I'm the same. Unfortunately she realized that lesson after going through all of these, monumental transformations of her body. But it was beautifully sad. Like that's why I think I will talk about the last 20 minutes. That's why it kind of, that scene when she's on the stage, it got me. Because if it ended just with that final transformation of her in the mirror,
Yeah.
I think that the next scene, that exposition really is kind of like everything blowing up in her face. And there's really no turning back. And we see it.
I don't mean like just ending right there. She looks in the mirror, roll credits, but I don't know. You could just in my head, I was like, oh, she's about to climb that billboard up on the hills and like jump off. I thought that's what she was going to do. And splatter into a gory mess, roll credits. Not a bad ending, but it kept going. And I found myself saying, is any of this needed? Because it's kind of starting to get a little wacky, and I get the message of the movie. I support it, but my nose is kind of hurting because you're repeatedly punching me in the nose right now with the message of the movie.
I understand that. I totally understand that. That it's
She's
a little
a freak. Kill the monster.
Yeah, that
Metaphor.
ooh, spirit fingers. But I mean, I totally understand with the narrative aspect of it, but seeing like the demons-esque scene where they're locked in the movie theater or like that, where they're shooting the New Year's Eve show and she's spewing blood everywhere. I'm like, this is so beautiful. This is 80s camp in all of its glory.
Pushes out a tit on stage.
It's just disgusting. Like, it's just gross.
Yeah.
And she's like, I mean, the way she's saying, like, it's me. Like, I'm the same. Like, I was like, wow.
It's me.
Shit. And like, everyone is just disgusted at this, like, regeneration of Sloth from the Goonies a little bit. But like, that's how quick people will turn on you too in Hollywood, I'm sure. Beautiful 1 minute, disgusting the next.
Yeah, it's an over the top satire. It certainly gets the message across. But just for the last 10 minutes, it kind of lost me a little bit. I still think it's a great movie. What'd you think about I guess spoilers at this point? But,
yeah, we already said enough.
Yeah,
we said a lot of spoilers.
But what did you think about the final scene where just the mushy pool of goo known as Demi Moore just crawls across the sidewalk and lays on her star and dies.
I honestly thought it was great. I still have yet to dig into my brain to figure out what that means, but when the body collapses and then she just crawls out, it's just beautiful. It's just so gross. I'm like, it's still going. I'm like, this is still going. And I kind of like that. I kind of liked how they just broke her down into just that one aspect of her face, of her just crawling, trying to get back to like a semblance of herself, maybe going to her own star. Like that's where she feels the most comfortable, in the spotlight. And she shouldn't have taken it for granted, possibly. What did you think about it?
It was okay. I don't know. It was just a little too, oh, how symbolic, like she crawls to her Hollywood Walk of Fame, and
which is now her grave where she lays.
Which is now her grave. The thing that gave her life is what ultimately killed her, and she's looking up at the stars because inside she knows she is a star. I don't know.
Are you trying to be Michael Caine or Morgan Freeman? I can't tell.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so hungry. I'm a little tired.
A little tired, little hungry, little horny.
Not gonna lie, a little tired, a little hungry.
What'd you order?
A burrito.
Man, you really love the burritos.
Yeah.
Mexican food is your favorite food. Am I mistaken? Because
no, I think that's probably accurate. Well, let's not talk about it because I am hungry. The substance. Is this the best movie of the year so far? Best horror movie?
I'm going to go ahead and give it a big hell yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin style.
I think you have to.
It's all the right elements, all the substance, pun intended, is there. Also, another thing upon the second watch when I was watching it, I like how the movie is called The Substance, and the new version of Demi Moore, Sue, is kind of a representation of like no substance. Like Demi Moore's character had like the experience, she lived life, and this new girl is just all about, the glitz, glamour, really nothing to her behind the looks. So I kind of like how that played out.
I think they should have maybe given a little bit of backstory to Sue, because even though I know it's supposed to be Demi Moore, they are one, but they feel like two very different people. And I don't know. I didn't fully understand the motivations of Sue other than she's chasing fame. But if that's Demi Moore in another self, wouldn't she recognize these trappings of chasing the next mountaintop of fame?
Right. But it could be due to the fact that since this is a quote unquote younger, better, more intelligent version of herself, that she doesn't really care about the repercussions. She's hot right now, and she's going to do anything she wants to get to that level. Fuck what matters.
Yeah, she'll fuck her way to the top. She's got to.
Also, another great scene where the dude what?
The neighbor?
That scene was
so
also funny.
Yeah, that guy was
Lump
great.
it up, or whatever he was saying. So good. Now when the dude she brought home unzipped her leather like Tomb Raider suit, and like her intestines kind of fell out of her back, or whatever, tendons, whatever.
Yeah, that was great.
And like, oh my god, like little like Gollum Demi Moore running around in the like giallo yellow coat getting her ass kicked.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I got to rewatch it because there were so many just little moments like that I absolutely loved.
Last night, there was more people in that screening than when I went the first time. And there was this these older women sitting in front of us. Let me just enlighten you on some comments that I heard from them. Shit. Fuck. Oh, Jesus. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Enough already. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, this is a content. I don't know if this is a category at the Spookies, but do we have a stop the damn match category?
I think we did for the first year, but we got to bring it back.
Yeah, because there were times in this where I was like, "Stop the damn match! My God, she's dead."
See that Hulk Hogan super kick.
The super kick?
Yeah, when Sue kicked Elizabeth Sparkles like right into the fucking coffee table and
oh yeah,
repeatedly kicked her.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole dude that head bashing scene into the mirror. Like,
gave Talk to Me a run for its fucking money.
There's your stop the damn match nominee right there.
Was Mankind versus The Undertaker.
I was like, off the fucking.
Hugh Hefner's knocked out. He's on the side of the ring, King. You gotta stop the match.
Hugh Hefner?
Earl Hebner.
You said Hugh Hefner.
I was like, wait, that way too fast.
Hugh Hefner was a ref?
You know, back in the golden years when Vince McMahon was on the commentary table, he hired Hugh Hefner.
I really got to watch this new Netflix doc, I tell you.
So much information we don't know about.
But yeah, this movie was, I mean, this is what we need in horror right now. Just a director that's trying to push the limits. I can't wait to see what this director does next.
Yeah, she was really brilliant. I think from her first movie to the second movie, can't believe this is only her second feature. And this was, I'm interested to hear about like how she chose Demi Moore for the part, or when she read the script, like, is it something that she needed to do? Kind of like how, Nicolas Cage read, that movie Pig, and he was like, I need to do this movie. Adam Sandler read Uncut Gems and was like, I need to do this movie. Kind of like the movies that like reinvent these older actors' careers.
Right.
That's like, wow, I never got a chance to do this. I know I can do it. Someone just needs to give me a chance. Same thing with like Mickey Rourke from The Wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic movie, but like, what the fuck has Mickey Rourke done before and after The Wrestler? Like, that was a brilliant movie. Darren Aronofsky brought him out.
Sin City was kind of his comeback.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wow. Sin City is a fucking movie I haven't seen in so long.
It's good.
But loved it. It is a great movie.
Yeah. Kind of forget about it.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez, right? He directed that?
I think so. Yeah, we'll say yes.
That one I would love to rewatch.
It feels like he directed it. Well, Doug, any other thoughts on The Substance?
I'm about to go to 35 North Byron Alley and see what's good.
You about to pump it up with Sue?
Yeah, absolutely. Get me a one-piece bathing suit. I'll join the class.
Quick question. So Demi Moore shoved a chicken leg up her ass? Is that what?
I didn't understand the physics of that scene.
There was that quick shot of the asshole closing. Remember that?
Wait, I thought that was because Margaret Qualley pulled it out of her belly button. Remember when she moved it up to her belly button and somehow reached in her belly button and pulled the chicken leg out? I thought that was the belly button, like that.
There was a quick shot of what appeared to be an asshole, like closing, implying that she shoved a chicken leg up her ass.
All right, we're gonna put up a poll. Do you think it's her belly button or her asshole in The Substance? I'll
tell you this: you can't shove a chicken leg.
I thought you just ate it, and somehow it went to her glutes.
You can't shove a chicken leg through your belly button, but I'm guessing you can through the asshole.
That's what I thought. I thought she was literally going to take it out of her ass.
I don't know.
These are the questions that the director is posing here.
Oh, man. Well, now that we've adequately grossed out all the listeners,
That has to be a Pornhub category. Ass chicken.
I hope not. Ugh.
Pornhubstance.
I think this is the grossest episode we've ever done between all the shit talk with the front room and this.
We do like some shit talk.
Yeah, but yeah, this is just nasty.
Yeah.
And I got to eat my dinner soon, so let's change the topic.
Speaking of that, I'm also going to make a chicken cutlet.
Hey, there you go. Have Brittany shove it up your ass.
That might be for later. Brittany, lube up that olive oil.
Oh, man. All right. On that note, we are going to get on out of here. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Much more to come. We are ramping up to spooky season. Thank God.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Nosferatu. We have some we've been talking about some episodes we're going to do for October. So be on the lookout for those.
Yeah, we got some stuff lined up. I know we took a little time off, but we were busy, you know. I did the cruise, we did Tidewater. I was sick after all that and busy with work, but we are getting it going. We are pumping it up.
Back at it, baby. Hitting that whiplash.
All right, Doug, let's get on out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. Doug, I love you.
Love you, baby.
Bye, everybody.